Nice update from Captain April here. We are almost moved out. We just got let's see, clothes and a few books left, and the plan is we'll be out of here Friday, so that when Saturday comes around, the lower the boom, we ain't here to have it, see it. But since I don't want this to turn into just one big long wine fest, and actually at least have some of the content I wanted to put up here in the first place, we're going to take a look at what we know about Discovery thus far. Thankfully, there's a Wikipedia page already up there for it, and I think it's got everything we know to this point, so I managed to save it to a file, so let's go to it. Now, just go over what we know so far. Again, a lot of it's going to be old news to you, but it's set 10 years before the original series, Prime Universe. I hate that term, but let's go with it. Aboard the USS Discovery, and someone settled on the number NCC 1031, mainly because apparently someone likes Halloween. That's about all the rationale we got behind that. Characters, we got number 1, specifically Lieutenant Rainsford, or Lieutenant or Lieutenant Commander, I don't know which yet. And we're going with the first officer as the main character this time, which is an interesting twist. I think the operative phrase going here is like everyone wants their own Game of Thrones. And I think that's what this show is going to be, probably, a Game of Thrones for CBS. And let's see, we got Sonequa Martin Green. Long day, folks. As number 1. And, along those lines, apparently they have enough of Majel Barrett's voice sampled to have the computer voice on there, which we'll see how they do. Are they going to have it the way she did in the original series, or are they going to have the later next gen, in which case we got an issue. And let's see, Doug Jones as Saru. That's the way he's pronounced it in interviews. Saru. Alien science officer. He's a weird-looking guy, so he's perfect for it. It's kind of like, I'm blanking on the name. Ron Perlman. He's got a weird face. It's perfect for prosthetics. So, Anthony Rapp as Stamets. Science officer specializing in astromycology, study of fungi in space. So they're going out to explore strange new molds, where no mushroom has gone before. And James Frain is Sarek. This is troubling. Not because of Frain. He actually looks kind of like a young Mark Leonard. He's the perfect casting there. The problem is he's there as a Vulcan, and it is Spock's father. It's the same Sarek, but he's being identified as a Vulcan astrophysicist. This is only 10 years before the original series. Right now, at this point, Sarek should definitely... the Enterprise is only 5 years old. At this point of the transition between Robert April and Chris Pike, Spock is probably already on board as science officer. And Sarek, by all rights, should all be up to his pointy little ears in negotiations for the Corridon admission to the Federation. Not out playing astrophysicist on some Federation ship. And remember, and also, Sarek really didn't care for Starfleet. Now, maybe this is how they explain why he didn't, but by this point it's too late anyway, because Spock's already in Starfleet and out on the Enterprise by this point. And this would have happened a few years before this, if anything, so I am not hopeful here. This is not a good sign in my book. Now, Michelle Yeoh as captain of the Shenzhou. That's good. I don't know what again, I think we're talking Game of Thrones situation where you got different things going on. So you got another ship being dealt with. And Shazad Latif as Cole, commanding officer of the Klingons. I think someone got a little carried away with the shorthand. I doubt it's going to be commanding officer of all the Klingons. There's going to be the commanding officer of a Klingon force somewhere. Otherwise, he'd be in there as Chancellor of the High Council or Emperor. I think there's still an Emperor at this point, if we got timeline right. And Chris Obi is another... Takuvma, a Klingon leader looking to unite the Klingon houses. He's probably the Chancellor of the High Council, or aspiring to be. And Mary Chieffo, Chieffo, as Laurel, battle commander of the Klingon ship. So at least he identifies as a Klingon ship. And let's see. Now, Nick Meyer wrote the second episode with Brian Fuller. I haven't seen it. They don't say who wrote the pilot. Oh, there we are. Okay, first pilot. Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman wrote the pilot. any connection, even just with personnel, with JJ Trek, makes me nervous. So, we'll see. At least, we'll be able to watch that one for free. Hopefully we'll be somewhere where we can watch it for free. I also figured this is gonna take the new role as most pirated show. All I can say is yo ho, a pirate's life for me. So, and let's see, I'm going through here. One of the things is I think it's evidence as the new logo. Brian Fuller was one of those on the production staff that was of the opinion that the little Delta shield, that was everybody's insignia. Because it came up when they're doing Inner Mirror Darkly on Enterprise, and they're working on do a logo up for the Defiant crew. And he was opinion, well, they all had the thing. No, they didn't all have that thing. It's like just two obvious examples: Commodore Decker and Captain Tracy. It's like, sorry, it's like those times when they did have the same logo, it's like we're supposed to ignore that, guys. The idea was every ship had its own insignia. I mean, if it was all Starfleet, then why did all the Commodores have the Starburst pin? No, sorry. But he was one of those, and it's one of those raging debates that still goes on message boards. And there is a workaround around it. Whether or not they come up with it, I don't know. Because we've already seen it's in the ship, the show logo and stuff, and we saw a close-up of a uniform with the variation on that pin. And it's like, unless that we're seeing a close-up of say they happen to be in town when the transfer of command is happening between Captain April and Captain Pike, then, and we're just getting a close-up of an Enterprise uniform. And I said, we're going to have some issues, guys. Okay? And I have no doubt they will, it was bad enough in the old days when the old saying from Roddenberry was that Star Trek fans are built with a typewriter in one hand and roll of stamps in the other. With the internet? Oh, yes, you can the emails are just already almost ready to go, just ready to hit send, The big thing that is worrying me is the fact we're only talking 10 years. If they had set this even 50 years early, Sark would still be very much alive and active. I mean, he was 100 years old in Journey to Babel. At this point, he's 90. And like I said, he should still be, an ambassador. Vulcan ambassador to Earth, or the Federation. He shouldn't be doing ship duty. It just doesn't ring right. And, almost forgot. In honor of Richard Hatch, I was planning on, or in this old thing. Unfortunately, it barely fit when I got it. And that was several years ago, and several cheeseburgers. So, but at least I still have it. And I'm going to keep on that. Alright, oh yeah. Lost my train of thought. But as I said, it's only 10 years. If they'd done 50 years, then yeah, you can do all kinds of weird things with the uniforms and explained away. The ship they got, which is is everyone figured out by now who paid attention, it's a reworking of an old Ralph McQuarrie design. Back when they were still going back and forth, when they bring back Star Trek in the mid-70s. Is it going to be a TV series, or a TV movie, or a feature-length movie, or a big-budget movie, low-budget movie? And McQuarrie from Star Wars was one of the guys that brought in to design a ship, and that big triangle sucker. Nice design, but it's not the Enterprise. That was essential. That was the final thing. And heck, there's a guy in Hobby Talk who was doing a scratch build that it looks amazing. He's doing a damn good job. He's really refining the design. But again, only 10 years. 50 years ago, it'd been great. No one would argue at all. 10 years, though. Like I said, the Enterprise is already 5 years old at this point. And I make the argument that, the Constellation, its registry 1017. That's not far from 1031 for the Discovery. They should both be the same type of ship. So if you really want the consistency on that level, what they should be doing is basing off the old AMT Enterprise kit. 18-incher. Because that is the one kit you can actually argue is screen accurate for the Constellation. You can do pre-battle damage. I mean, but I've come to the opinion that, as far as, again, it's, upon further review type thing of everything that's happened since then, that kit I just got a message on my phone here. That kit no longer represents the Constitution class starship. It's been superseded by more accurate models from Polar Lights, the little 1-1000 kit and the big 1-350. We now, so that kit no longer is the Constitution class. I don't care what they intended or what the idea was. That is now an earlier class. It's a little shorter, a little chunkier if you scale things out, going by the bridge module. It's maybe 20 feet shorter, 20, 30 feet shorter, and a little blockier. It's still a Starship class vessel, but a different Starship class. And instead of Constitution, I like to call it Bonhomme Richard, just to tweak certain folks. Here's the point is, it's like Ron Moore said before they started with Enterprise, and Brown and Bragg and Rick Brown, they had better become true believers in the original timeline and the continuity, or there's going to be hell to pay, because we got a lot of guys like me out here. And granted, I'm even more up there because, I'm helping Bijo Trimble do a new version of the Concordance. And thanks to Sarek being involved in this, Discovery's going to be a part of it. Because his inclusion makes it eligible for inclusion, because anything that touches on the original series, we can do. And falls on the purview for copyright for the Concordance. And we're going through all that stuff and bring it up to date, and it will be really up to date because we'll have stuff the encyclopedia doesn't have. And if it doesn't fit up, we can be going chapter and verse and say, oh, okay, this doesn't match, this doesn't match. And we'll be joined by several million other people doing the exact same thing and probably not as nicely. So, like I said, in only 10 years, Ron was talking only about 100 years before the original series. We're talking 10 years. We've already seen 10 years before the original series. It's called The Cage. That's the time period we're looking at. So we're talking, not even just speculation with the Enterprise. We know what that period looks like. We know what the technology looks like. So they start getting cute, and this could meet a bit of a train wreck very early on. So, with that in mind, stay tuned. We'll see what's going on. And again, Patreon link down below, PayPal down below. We need your help, guys. Seriously. Because at this point, like I said, my eye surgery in next week. We've got a hotel room for a couple of days. It's still a ways before those couple of days hit. And the PayPal money, we've got so far from a cafe price isn't much. I mean, we're pushing it to do the hotel room. So yeah, please help us out here so I can get back to doing the commentary like I want to do and not be whining about my state of mind here. And how I'm going to feed the cat. So catch you later, guys. Bye.